Hi guys, this is Michelle, and this is video number 2 with Antonina and I. And today we're bringing you more little magic about us, and we're going to learn more about Antonina. She's pretty fabulous, so I thought you guys should know everything. So I prepared 10 questions to ask Miss Antonina, and let's see how that goes. So welcome to our little interview. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? I'm enjoying.
I'm doing pretty fabulous.
On camera.
Yes. So, question number 1 for today. What does freedom mean to you?
Wow. What does freedom mean to me? Great question.
Start small.
Okay. The first thing that pops into my head is absolutely my top value, if you want to get specific. Freedom is an expression of my soul. I like to feel free in everything that I do and everything that I am. Freedom, I think, for me, is choices and having choices and able to make choices. Not being able to do so is the opposite of freedom, and that's when I feel confinement and confusion and any other negative emotions. So it really is about being free. My background, the country that I was born with, was quite repressed. So moving to a different place makes me value my own freedom. So freedom of self-expression, freedom in wearing what I want and being who I want. I'm not being prosecuted for it, and for my beliefs and for my convictions and for my knowing and being okay. I mean, one of the things that I remember from when I moved abroad was seeing teenagers, because I was a teenager at that time, just about to enter into teenagehood, is people sitting on the floor, cross-legged. That's not something that was almost allowed in my country, because we were just so rigid and so repressed. So at that time, that was the representation of freedom. Like I said, now it is on a much bigger scale. And if I were to go zoom out, it's freedom for everyone within my vicinity or further out to have the choices, to have the opportunities, to have access to knowledge, to freedom, to friendship, to love, to everything. So choices, choices, choices for all.
And also find fear. Once you fully release fear, it's like ultimate freedom.
Yes, absolutely. There's no barriers in that.
Perfect. Question number 2. What are 3 things from your childhood, 3 lessons that are empowering you today? Because a lot of us had maybe sometimes associated not as a ideal childhood. So what are things that came from your non-ideal childhood that are actually gifts for you today?
Okay, so the things that I guess I'm owning from my childhood, which probably back then seemed tragic, but now I see them as gifts, were being different. As I just mentioned, I have moved numerous times throughout my childhood, no more than anybody else, but no less than anybody else. And so being different is normal for me, but it's something that I own and I embrace now. I mean, just to give you an example, I attended a conference yesterday, and I was very aware that although our message is united, I didn't quite fit in. And before, I would consider it as, well, something to, somewhat, so this is something that would get me down. I'm completely okay with it now. It's just part of who I am. I'm different. I will always be different, probably, and that's cool. Number 2 would probably have to do with sensitivity. So sensitivity is a big part of who I am and what I teach now and what I preach. But it took a long time to get there and again embrace it and fully own that. I didn't quite know that I was sensitive as a child. I had an inkling of it. So sensitivity has been, and understanding, and again embracing and accepting it, has been a big part of my own journey. And I think it falls into being different. Being sensitive does make you different in this kind of very strong, rigid world. And that's something I've tried to do for a long time. I tried to fit in, I tried to be less sensitive, I tried to be less feeling orientated. Uh, and Yeah, that didn't get me very far. So now I fully embrace being sensitive. I'm fully receptive of feeling my feelings and feeling other people's feelings and being okay with it. And the third one, what would be the third one? I think this is something that I'm coming into right now. Is when I was much younger, uh, I was quite strong and opinionated, and I want to say leadership, and that's a quality that I lost over later years, or I repressed in myself for a while. Maybe because leaders are not supposed to be sensitive, so maybe because I was exploring other qualities. But I feel like now is a good time to, or maybe because leaders were quite authoritative and strict and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where now I'm finding a happy medium, and I know my style of leadership, and just the idea of the voicing of my desire to be in a leadership position, of owning that part of myself is something. It's like coming into your own power. And again, that's something that I learned, something I've forgotten, and something I'm coming back into now and enjoying it.
Perfect. Yeah, I actually made a video about this yesterday that I'll be sharing soon.
Okay.
My third question is, any of your like empath or clair gifts and all that kind of stuff, were you aware? I mean, you kind of touched base on this just
Yeah.
now, but were you aware of them? Were they celebrated for you as a child? Was it something you had to repress?
Probably more like repressed. So one of the earliest memories I have of being a sensitive, besides obviously just reacting deeply to music and movies, like art, expression of art, was being fairly young. So probably my daughter's age, 5, 6 years old, and being ill, and my obviously staying in a different room than my parents, and my mom telling me that if you leave me, you can knock on the wall and I'm going to come over and see to you. And me wanting to call on her, but being aware of this presence in my room of these two women, and particularly know that there were two women talking above me. And this is something I've never spoken before, so this is probably just because I'm talking to you. So two women talking above me, telling me not to not to call her or something rather. But I was just acutely aware that there was a presence, and B, it was a female presence, two women talking to me directly. Um, so things like this used to freak me out for a very long time. I probably slept with the lights on for the longest time ever. Um, so to circle back and answer your question, no, they were not celebrated. I was very misunderstood. Although I was not, I was very misunderstood by my family. I don't think they considered me very normal for a very long time. And as I said, just the kind of the sensitive part, in, I I owed my intuitive part, although I didn't know what it was, much earlier than I owed my sensitive part. And the sensitive part of me, where I'm embracing the feeling part of myself, it's something that I have been actively working on accepting the last, I don't know, 5, 7 years. The knowing part has always been there, the receptiveness has always been there, but it's only coming into my own, and that's because other has helped to realize that. I know it's a big part of the path. So I guess the short answer is no. There was always a knowing, but there was never a container and the support and the tools for me to fully realize those, and which is part of what I'm doing now. Part of my own journey is helping others to realize and accept their gifts through educating them and through helping them own and rock their sensitivity. Not ignorance. It's not a disease. It's not a problem. It's our genetic makeup, if you will, and it's something we need to embrace and own. It's just one of those talents that we're born and that we came in innate soul essence.
Beautiful. Yeah, I had a little moment as a child. I think I was 3 years old, and we went to a farm. Well, it was just a house. There was nothing left in the field. And I started talking about this lady and all these horses and all that kind of stuff. And my uncle was like, what is she talking about? And then my grandfather was like, well, when I was a kid, there used to be this farm here and all these horses and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I became my uncle's fascination because like I was aware of things that were there 100 years before.
Yeah.
So I still don't know if it was like past life thing or just a knowing thing, but I was just like, look at these horses.
That's cool. Yeah, totally.
Would freak out my mother, but my uncle thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
That's so funny you mentioned that, because yes, my mother has a younger sister, a somewhat younger sister, like a much younger sister than her. And in fact, I spoke to her yesterday. So we would definitely bond over certain woo things as well when I was younger. I mean, in those days, it would be her showing me magic tricks, and I've just realized, you know what, we were talking yesterday, and she's still kind of sharing magic tricks with me, but in terms of consciousness and evolution and what have you. So yeah, I can totally relate to that story.
Perfect. My next question is, we all know gratitude is one of the easiest way to raise our vibration. And then if you ask people, what are you grateful for? People usually name things outside of themselves. So my question is, can you name 5 things you're deeply grateful for that is about you within?
Oh, right. That's a brilliant question. So 5 things I'm grateful for within myself. I am grateful for my reproductive system. It's given me a beautiful daughter who is my best friend, my guru, my teacher, my partner in crime, my everything. So, you know what, if it wasn't for my uterus, she wouldn't be there. So, massively grateful for that. I am grateful for my quirky, bizarre sense of humor. I tend to make myself laugh the most. I'm the first one to laugh at my own jokes. So, you know, I always laugh with myself. I am grateful for my creativity. I like to choose the path of least resistance. And in times, you need to be pretty creative to do that. Or it has led me to do creative things. So yeah, now I'm at a place where I can be grateful for. So that's 3. 4, I'm grateful for, again, I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for the ability to use my hands and feet, you know, for being relatively healthy or optimally healthy. I mean, for my mobility, I guess. So why not? That's an amazing thing to possess, and I'm already, it makes me feel like a million times luckier. Last one, I guess I'm grateful for my intuitive gifts. You know, that's something I have always wanted. It's a classic thing of always wanting it and not realizing that you had it all along.
Yes, perfect. My next question is, in this very moment, right now, do you feel 100% worthy of all your big dreams? And if you do not, what thing pops up right now that is between you and your full worthiness of achieving anything that you want?
I think in the question of being worthy, this is something, admittedly, that I've been doing a lot of work in this particular year, just because I knew that this is the bit that actually, that itself, that is what's stopping me from achieving my dreams. So it's kind of a open-ended question, because the ability to feel your own worth was what was blocking me from
Mm.
going out and doing it. But because that's what I've been actively working on and embracing and merging with and collaborating with, if you will, if we were to kind of look at it this way, is what makes me, or what allows me to feel, to be able to expand, um, and know that I can achieve those things. So again, I was at the conference yesterday where people were sharing, the spiritual leaders, if you will, were sharing their message up on stage, and message of love, compassion, following your joy, connecting to your soul purpose. And I would say one of the few times where it did not feel like this is me and this is them. It felt very
Mm.
leveled out. It was like, yes, I hear you. I know what you're talking about. I think it's an important message. We all have to contribute in spreading it. So I guess I do feel worthy, and knowing that I'm on the path to achieving my dreams. There is the one thing that can and does stop at times is when I'm not in the feeling of worthiness, and that's something that, like anything else, self-development evolves and evolves. So I think I've just realized that's part of my spiritual practice for this year.
Perfect. Okay, next question. What lights your fire? What excites you? Like there's no time like limits, there's nothing like what brings you in that zone of magic, that zone of genius?
That flow, what brings me in the zone?
Yeah.
Creative ideas, starting new things, activating projects, helping people as well. So helping others realize their ideas. Anything, I would define myself as a fire starter. So starting something new, I find exciting in itself. Um, and that whole creative process that comes with it, coming up with the idea and the emergence, the birthing of the idea. Finishing, not always so much, but I love starting new things. And before it, again, that's not something I owned with myself, and I felt like that this was a part of escapism from life, maybe starting your life all over again. But now I just see it as, again, part of my soul expression. I like starting new things, and I'm okay with it. I like generating ideas. I like generating ideas for myself, for other people. I'm like an idea generation machine.
Yeah, like that too. Probably why we're friends.
Probably. So,
If you get lost for hours just making up stuff.
exactly, just light bulb. So that, what else lights me up? I think beautiful environments. Anytime I'm adventure is a big thing. So anytime I'm embarking on having to travel, funny enough, lights me up. I'm the kind of person who gets excited about going to the airport. So I'm as excited about the idea of seeing other places as I'm about travel. That for me is exciting. Just not only the final destination, but the process itself.
Mm.
And that's the goal of being like that. Like just knowing that I have to pack. Oh, I hate packing, but knowing that I'm on my way somewhere and I'm like about to take off and experiences. Yeah, new experiences is a good thing. And books, good books as well. Interesting books, things that really trigger you and excite you and make you open up and think of new possibilities. Probably those kind of things.
Beautiful. Who inspires you? Like, not look up to as like they're up here and then you're here. More like who makes you feel like you are capable of doing anything that is true to you?
I think my first and foremost, I mean, let me, before I kind of rage on about this, I like that you said when you talk about inspiration, it's not the people who are above you or um, they're on par with you. Because as much as I enjoy certain people who are certain heroes who are there right now, I'm actually more inspired by everyday people and everyday heroes, or even people in my immediate circle who are breaking down their own internal barriers and going after their dreams. I mean, personally, I find that more inspiring than seeing somebody on the public domain, like a public figure, achieve level of fame or exposure. So I know, it's big in kind of our circles to, I don't know, talk about people like Oprah and no, like heads up to her for being amazing. But I'm just as inspired um, to somebody in my group having a breakthrough and suddenly really showing up and sharing themselves, or hitting a new level, a new personal level, or opening up, or just like squaring on or adjusting themselves and realizing their life purpose. I think that's just as exciting and just as emotional and inspirational in itself. Just like seeing people come out of their shell and activate themselves and elevate themselves. That's really exciting. Besides that, I think my daughter always inspires me. She inspired me to be, and I'm sure you can relate as well,
Yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Inspired me to be a better person. She's the first person to probably call me out on my crap. And if I'm not being congruent, if I'm telling her to, and it's 15:55 over here, telling her to, let's say, get on her iPad, but I'm on my thing, she'll always, she's the one who challenges me, inspires, and asks me the most difficult questions, the ones that I enjoy. So
Yes.
I definitely felt like her birth gave me a purpose to live, but not to say that she's my purpose, but she inspires me to be a
Yes.
bigger, beautiful version of who I am. Yeah.
Perfect. My next question is what you talk about self care when we did our videos, but I like to talk about self care from an energetic level.
Right.
So, what are your what are the things you do to elevate your frequency on a daily basis? And when you're in, let's call it a crisis. So when you just want to like say, screw it, I'm going under a rock, what do you do to just re-level yourself up?
Well, first of all, when I feel like going under a rock, I think I've started honoring that, and like, yeah, honoring that. If I feel like going under a rock, and I had a little meltdown last week, and I went under the rock for a few days, and that was exactly what I needed.
Mm.
So I think nowadays I don't try and fight it. It's go with my impulse. I know as an empath, as a sensitive, as an intuitive, it's important for me to get my time along. So um, I would say the most spiritual practice for me is making sure I get that time alone to recharge my batteries. If that means waking up earlier and listening to uplifting music and reading whatever I'm reading at the moment, just being with myself. So honoring that and finding ways to do that, and communicating with others that I do need that time alone and not feeling bad about it would probably be the way I do that. When it comes to pulling myself out of a slump, an energetic slump, besides the usual kind of the salt bath, the grounding, the walk, it's really transmuting the energy. So I find that what happens when I'm in the slump is there's something that I need to process, either my own feelings or the feelings of somebody else's that I tend to carry. And I do that by questioning the process and ask, really reconnecting with myself and asking what do I need to do, and yeah, what do I need to do in this given moment to transmit that. I think there is a point where it clicks, and whatever arose for you, if it's my personal stuff, if I understand what the message is, what it's trying to communicate with me, it naturally dissipates. If it's something that belongs to somebody else, well, I deal with it differently each time. But it's also about understanding and accepting that it even stuck to you for a reason. So kind of, I don't believe you can get rid of energy, but you can elevate it or to transmute it. So that's part of our gift, is transmuting energy. So you kind of allow it to work through you and release it. Yeah, and release it. So something around releasing, right, works differently each time because circumstances different. There's no one set thing.
It's funny. One of my big trigger is packing my daughter, going somewhere, being late, and cannot find my keys. It's like it's like a sudden massive drop of frequency, and then I need to like remind myself to stop and just reboost myself. I don't know why that's my trigger, but like I crack every time it happens.
Mine is right before that. So before you even look for the keys, there's the getting dressed process. Oh my God, that used to be the biggest trigger for ages, the getting dressed with the daughter. So you have to dress yourself and you have to dress her, and she has her own ideas and but now it's, you know what, it's about like, yeah, being conscious and present with it and knowing that. So now I will not be attending something that needs to be like rigidly there.
Yeah.
To stress ourselves out over something. So she takes an hour to get dressed, so do I, and we need to be okay with it.
That's why we go to school.
So the idea is we either stay home or we kind of deal with it our own way.
Yeah. Beautiful.
About the keys. I never can find the keys, and if it's not the house, this is the car keys. They're always somewhere.
Yes. My next question is if you could, if your business, when your business is successful at the upper level, and you could have your very own charity, what would it be? Who would it serve? And why is it important to you?
Okay. So if you were to ask like 3 things that I'm, I guess, passionate about in terms of social entrepreneurship, is elevating poverty, supporting women who come from an abused background or abused relationship, and well, children, of course, massively. So it would probably be a toss-up between the 3 of them. But when you did ask this question, in this particular instance, what came to me is alternative schooling. I think our system is screwed up, and I'm not talking just about here in the UK, in the world. There's a lot of, throughout this paradigm shift, there's a lot of new souls coming in, and the system is not designed to support it, rather than break it. And I know you and me have talked about it extensively. So I guess I wouldn't support the existing system. And when I say existing alternative system, is somehow raise the awareness or create more choices for those who don't feel like they're fitting in the traditional schooling system somehow. Not sure how, it's a bit vague, but not allow for all these talented people to be broken down so early on because they are not something in a traditional sense. You know, they don't fit in. They don't learn fast enough. They're not expressing themselves in a way that this system wants them to. Not maybe overly creative. They're not sitting still. Like, all of these things are super annoying and they must be solved. because I think the more kind of the new souls coming in, the more it just goes to show it's outdated. And a friend of mine who was in the teaching profession said that the current system was introduced in like 1800s. I mean, as it was, because people would go and work on the fields, and somebody needed to tend to the children. It's like severely outdated. 1800s, 1900s, I don't know.
I definitely agree. It's actually one of my passion too, which is why we chose to homeschool.
Yeah.
And to me, there's two things I wish I could see in the system. One is that it feels like it's almost brainwashing that you have to learn all these things by heart versus teaching children to own up to their intuition, because that wisdom is priceless. And the next one is that to train these children that they're going to school for 14 years so they can go to university or college and be in debt is so ridiculous, because I do not know anyone who's actually using their degrees, honestly.
Absolutely. Nobody
So
ever.
I think it should be equally important to learn to be an entrepreneur, but not just because I've joined government program to help me be in business, and it's still a box. It's just a different kind of box. So it's more like children are creative. They're like they have such like, so they, I can't even talk, I'm so passionate. They can fix problem the greatest way because they're intuitive, they're creative. They, if this doesn't work, they keep trying and they keep trying, and they're little business people in the making. Why are we not owning that into them and just skipping the college? Have new options of online learning more versus college.
I mean, absolutely. I think that's already rising. It's on the rise, but there is still kind of very traditional route, and that's advertised as the only way. Whereas, like you said, there's the transition from those two possibilities was a lot more. There was a lot more of a bridge and the opportunity, and it wouldn't be so non-traditional in a sense. So it would be okay to go, right, well, I'm choosing this direction, and it wouldn't be something that, because people still look down on that and be like, oh, really? You're choosing to self-educate your child or something like that. I mean, I know that when I was studying in Bella in school, that was the case. I got caught up in the kind of the application process, even though my intuition was telling me otherwise. So I wish there was this, just like you said, more choices, more opportunities for people to explore the path that is right for them.
Yeah.
And for it not to be a problem. Because somebody may very well be suited to the traditional education system, and I'm not bashing that. That's okay. That there needs to be a support there. But there needs to be opportunities, choices, and so forth for people who are not suited to the system, and for for everyone to be okay with it. And I totally know what you're saying about the government support of that government support for entrepreneurship. I've had interviews with them before, and I walked out of the room like, wow, I want to throw my towel in. It was completely non-creative and very standardized and
structure. I'm like, I can't plan that strongly, because if you use your intuition, what I think today, if it's not in alignment because something shifts, let me tell you, next month I'm just gonna have to reshape it anyway.
Exactly. So where does the business and so forth come into that? I felt exactly the same way. It was like, wow, I regret coming in here and talking to you because you just killed my dreams right there.
Yeah. Yes. Beautiful. And our very last question of our little interview is, what is one fear that you're having right now that you can acknowledge, and that you're ready and willing and committed to like break through and experience your freedom from that one?
Okay, so one fear that I'm committed to breaking through this year is, funny enough, it's very similar to yours, like public speaking. So if I take you back to me saying that I was somewhat of a leader when I was younger, and that part of myself has been buried. Part of that is not being able to speak up and own my voice and own my message. But if I were to extend that, because I'm able to do that now in a kind of that public speaking environment. So yes, I'm committed to breaking through that, because if I want to impact the lives that I want to impact, if I want to touch the people that I want to touch, I need to make my dream bigger than my fear. And so one of the things, yes, that I want to level into is being able to publicly express myself without kind of wilting down and making myself smaller than I am. So yes, watch the space. There will be some challenges that I'm setting myself in order to overcome this. Plus, I'm a talker. I love talking. So
It's funny. This whole thing feels like a mirroring experience to me, because like everything you said, like, oh, me too.
Yeah, it totally did. Yeah,
Oh, like on every level, and then I just realized I have the necklace that you have, but in gold.
I had it in gold. It broke down.
Oh, really? I have it too, and I was like, oh, it's cool. Perfect. Well, this was really fun, and I hope you guys got to learn something about Antonina and just our amazing magical celestial unicorn magic that we're sharing with everyone as much as we can. Thank you for joining us. This has been fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed yourself too. Ciao.
Ciao.